Welcome to the podcast. I am your host, Steph Wharton, visibility coach, public speaker, and amateur bachata dancer and instructor. This is a show all about embracing sustainable visibility and marketing, specifically through public speaking and collaborations, also that you can amplify your impact through your speaker era while you embrace a life-first business model to make new memories with loved ones. Now, this is something I have not shared on the podcast previously, and you can let me know. Is this something that we want to do more regularly, once a month? And what it is really sharing a behind the scenes of what the past month has looked like for me specifically behind the business as well as in my life, because I feel like I can share a lot of valuable tips, resources, concepts, and my own perspective on what it looks like to lead a very sustainable business, to embrace public speaking as a visibility strategy. But other than the strategy itself, it's like, okay, what does it actually look like when you are fully embracing this type of business model? What does it look like when you're doing the work, when you're getting stuck? How do you manage if you're truly trying to work more limited hours, limited days? I was actually just having a podcast interview yesterday, and they were asking me a little bit of what that looked like because they knew that I only work 2 days a week. And one of the things that can naturally happen as entrepreneurs is you can feel a little bit of that pressure to keep showing up because there's always going to be more stuff to do, right? Our to-do list, even if we try and prioritize 1, 2, or 3 things each day, the to-do list itself is much longer than that. As entrepreneurs, we make all the decisions, but it also means that a lot of the work is going to be on our plate. It's going to be our responsibility. And what I was saying to the podcast host was that I did used to feel a lot of that pressure. I used to actually find myself working a lot of evenings, weekends, just longer hours in general, especially if I was in the middle of a launch or I just had a big project or I was handling more clients than usual. But one of the things that I'm finding now is since I only work 2 days a week, and since I've got a very big non-negotiable on how I want to spend my time, it has become a lot easier to set those boundaries and to hold them. It's been easier to basically just say the day is done and to make decisions a lot quicker so that then the work can be done quicker. And then when the day is in fact done, I can actually close my laptop and move on and then just hang out with my son, go out to swim meets, go out to play sports over the weekend, whatever that might be. But those priorities get to stay exactly that, priorities. So what I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit of that behind the scenes of what specifically the month of May 2025 looked like inside of my life and business. And I want to go ahead and share both the lows and the highs like I typically do to my email list, because I think it's important to have that perspective because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's not all, oh my God, like I'm signing new clients, I'm barely showing up. It's like, no. There's nuance, right? And I think that's really important to understand, especially if you're somebody who is looking to bring on more sustainable strategies onto their business. You want to know what it actually could end up looking like, as opposed to having this unrealistic expectation that all of a sudden I'm just going to be at the beach every single day and I'm never going to work and I'm just going to be making millions of dollars. That could, in theory, be the reality, but let's be honest. I have heard from so many folks who, yeah, perhaps financially are killing it in business and they're still tied to their phone 24/7. Some have nothing against it, right? Like some folks are genuinely happy to be at the beach, messaging their clients and handling business. And that is okay. That is a personal choice. But if you are the type of person that when you are enjoying your personal life, when you're trying to hang out with your spouse, you want to make sure that that is the sole focus that you have in that moment, then you don't want to be on your phone, right? You want to be aware of what it could actually look like behind the scenes. So when you start implementing these strategies, you can do that with it in mind. Or you can figure out, well, how can I make sure that I don't do that? Because again, these are all personal choices. They're decisions that we're making on how we want to run our business and how we want to lead our life. So the first thing with that in mind that I want to kick off with is one of the lows that I actually experienced this past month. And ironically, it actually has to do with the fact that I started to notice that my calendar was getting a little bit too full. So if I'm only working 2 days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, typically what I only have are 2 calls, one on each day, right? I've got the co-work and networking fiesta for the speaker movement community that I host every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. And then on Thursdays, I'll have the Speaker Experience Mastermind coaching call again at 10 a.m. It's very simple the way that my calendar looks. Now, for the remainder of the day, typically I just work behind the scenes. I message clients. I work on future marketing content so that everything can be batched and essentially automated. So even if things aren't literally automated, I can just go ahead, open up my phone any given day of the week, upload the video that I've already pre-recorded, put up the caption, and it's done. My content in a couple minutes is done for the day. So it's very streamlined, it's simple, it's easy, and for the rest of the day, I can just unplug. But lately, for this past month, what I was noticing is I had a lot of calls, and it was a mix of podcast interview like I had yesterday. It was speaking engagement. I had recording days for the Además podcast that I do with my friend Yvonne, as well as recording days for this podcast and the YouTube show. And it's fine. It's all things that I wanted to do slash so-called had to do, but all of a sudden I found that I had almost no free time left during the workday to do those additional tasks like batching more marketing content or ideating or working behind the scenes on the speaker movement directory, which I've been working on for several months now. So this was starting to add a lot of pressure, and I was starting to feel like I was falling behind. And I think it's important to know that these things happen. Even if you have the best plans and the best strategies in mind, naturally things are going to come up, and sometimes we just don't notice and we do commit to too many things as opposed to what we would rather do, which is perhaps say no and perhaps protect our calendar, or perhaps say not yet, not now, right? And book things for further along down the line. So that is something that I did this past month. And I know that going forward, I want to make sure that I'm a little bit more intentional and mindful when either finding opportunities, whether it's to speak, connecting with folks, and deciding to book little cafecito chats where we get to catch up and hang out. And I want to make sure that perhaps one of the ways that I can manage this is to limit it to one bonus call a week or something like that, or one bonus call a day, making sure that I don't have more than 2 calls a day. Because whenever I have 3, all of a sudden, the rest of the day is almost a write-off in between calls, prepping, going to the bathroom, eating, whatever that might be. So that was one of the things that I noticed, that I'm like, okay, mental note, we get to adjust that going forward. Now, on kind of related to that, I was actually finding that I was giving myself a really hard time for my work so far towards the speaker movement, the directory itself. So for context, if you haven't seen some of my previous updates, I've been working very hard behind the scenes on a new platform. I'm building out an entire website on a platform that I'm not currently using for my personal business website. So it's entirely new. It's a lot of new tech, new plugins, new everything, new glitches and challenges that I'm facing that perhaps I don't have naturally the skill set to handle. But I've been very resourceful, and I've been doing lots of research and trial and error, and I've actually been able to solve a lot of problems that I keep running into when it comes to building out this platform and this speaker directory. But because I've been running into so many roadblocks, so many glitches and challenges, the problem is that it's been taking me longer than I had hoped. And I think that's where my brain automatically goes into, I don't have enough time. I'm falling behind. This is not going to work. It's a lot of those unsupportive thoughts that me personally, I'm very used to having. I'm very used to almost like self-sabotaging myself when it comes to time constraints, and feeling like I don't have enough time, and feeling like just things won't be possible because of that, because of my lack of capacity and time. Like, I'm a mom, right? I only work behind the scenes on a computer 2 days a week. So it is very normal for my brain to go like, you don't have time for this. Like, so it's just something that I'm very, very used to and aware of. And whenever it comes up, it's just an opportunity to invite those thoughts in to perhaps tell it to go away because I know myself and I know it better than that, right? And in some instances, it is easier to tell myself stuff. You know what? You do actually have time. Let's just look at your calendar. Let's rejig a couple things. Let's make better decisions here as opposed to ruminating and over getting very overwhelmed in the whole decision process. It's like, no, 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 let's actually move ahead. But then there's instances where it's not that easy and I get to do a lot more self-coaching and figure out, okay, so what's actually coming up here for me, right? Like, why am I making this so-called excuse that I don't have enough time? What's coming up here? So it's a balance of trying to figure out, okay, do I just need to move forward and work and figure this out? Or do I need to do more of that inner work in order to truly trust and believe in myself and maybe find a different solution, whatever that might look like? Now, interestingly enough, I may feel or I may have thought that I'm falling behind, but I'm actually right on schedule. My brain still wants to tell me that I'm falling behind. My brain still wants to tell me that I need to hustle, strap down, and get things done. But when I look at my entire timeline that I mapped out for the coming months and for the official launch of the speaker directory, we're actually right on track. So it's perhaps not as big of a deal as I'm making it out to be, but I'm a recovering perfectionist. I know a lot of you are probably too. I feel like it's a very common theme. And it gets to be okay. We're human with a human brain. We're going to have these thoughts, and it's just about how you choose to navigate them. And it's about how long you choose to listen and subscribe to those unsupportive thoughts and believe that you're not capable of doing all these incredible things. Are you going to spend an entire week doubting yourself? Or are you going to navigate through the unsupportive thought? You're going to process it, release it, and then move on to something way more empowering and start to really trust in the fact that you can create all these amazing projects, offers, create this life for yourself in this business. I think that's such a much more beautiful and strong way of showing up for yourself because you freaking deserve it. And the cool thing on top of that is not only am I right on track, but this past month we actually welcomed 2 more new founding members into the speaker directory. And I'm just like, how is this happening? Like, I mean, I know how it's happening, but still my brain wants to go like, how on earth is this happening? We've been welcoming new clients into the directory every single month since April, since I started building the platform, and we're not launching until the fall. So I'm like, it's going to be an incredible program. It's going to be an incredible platform, and we're going to get to amplify so many underrepresented voices, public speakers, leaders in the online space who have a mission of their own that they want to share with the world, who have a different perspective, who perhaps have their own movement, right? They're here to create real change through public speaking, through their voice, through their stories. And the fact that there's going to be so many folks who are part of this movement, who are part of this directory already before we even launch, I'm just like, it's already become one of the most successful projects or things that I've undertaken in such a long time. And I think that's really freaking beautiful because that makes it easier to commit to the hard parts, to the whole building of this platform where I'm just like pulling my hairs out and growing more grays. If you can see any of them, I only got a couple, but I feel like they're coming out and they're getting longer. And I'm just like, well, this is a sign that I don't know, life, right? Motherhood, building out this platform, the challenges, the stress, everything that's coming through. It's starting to show up physically in this realm. But in any case, I think that's a beautiful transition to share more of the highs that I experienced through my business and life in the past 30 days. This next one actually blew my mind because I'm not usually one to content batch. Now, you've probably heard me say otherwise because it's true. I've been going through this very much like transitionary phase in how I create content and how I show up to market inside of my business, specifically since I came back from mat leave just over a year ago, where I have started to dabble more into content batching. Primarily because I've got almost like no other choice. At least that's the decision I've made. The decision I've made is that I want to be spending more intentional time with my family. So I cannot be on social media every single day creating fresh content like I used to. I used to post on my feed, maybe not every day, but almost every single day. If I was launching, it was every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. I was showing up on my stories no matter whether I was launching every single day. And when I was launching, it was multiple times, like 3, 4, 5 times a day. And I loved that. Like I had so much fun showing up on social media It was a vibe. I love being able to connect with you, with my community, to sell, to invite folks into my offers. Like it felt so vibey, so empowering, so much fun. However, that's not how I want to be spending my life anymore, right? Or my time within my business. So that decision was made, which meant that I had to get more intentional and strategic with how I would show up, whether it's a podcast, now YouTube this year, a lots more email, finding different ways to, even if I want to show up on social media, well, let's make sure it's pre-batched content, right? So everything for the month can always be scheduled ahead of time, no matter what channel, what marketing platform I'm using, it's all going to be prepped and ready to go. So I can forget about my marketing for the entire month because it's all scheduled. Then I can leverage visibility through public speaking and other collaborations more actively, whether it's something that's pre-recorded or a live public speaking engagement, whatever it might be. That helps get new eyes on my brand, my platforms, my pre-batch content, my marketing, and then that can all lead to whatever it is that I'm promoting and selling behind the scenes without having to launch every single month. So that felt a lot more sustainable. So what I've been leaning into now is for the month of May, I actually did one intentional like co-working session with one of my friends, and I mapped out 5 months worth of a marketing campaign. It's really freaking cool because for the 5 months, every month has a different focus, but they each build on each other. Maybe this could be like an entire episode on its own where I really break down how I mapped this out and how I really built it so that it can work better for itself and like everything kind of works together. But basically 5 months worth of, I didn't create the content itself, full transparency, but I have point form content ideas, like what I'm going to be talking about for every piece of content, whether it's email, YouTube, social media. There's going to be a lot of repurposing there. So don't worry, it's not like I'm coming up with fresh content every single day. But that's 5 months worth. So that's an entire massive marketing campaign, which means I now have a lot of work cut out for me. I started prepping, what was it, yesterday, a lot of that content for the entire month of June. But I'm like, damn, I've got lots of work to do. But like, how wild is that? I created 5 months worth of content. Like, that's beyond sustainable. Like, once I actually go ahead and create the content itself and have it all templated and ready to go, that's 5 months where I'll barely have to lift a finger. That's a lie because I'm going to be launching the coolest thing ever, the speaker directory. But still, it's going to be sustainable. It's going to be light. It's going to allow me to have as much fun as possible while still being as unplugged as I want to be. So that was like a huge high, huge thing to just like celebrate for myself this past month. And I feel like hopefully put some things into perspective for you as well. One of the things that I love to invite folks to do inside the speaker movement community is to invite them to celebrate, to share whatever it is that they're grateful for, whether it's like milestones, little experiences where they feel like they grew a lot or they were just able to check things off their list. Like if you map out your content, that is worth celebrating because it's something that you wanted to do, right? It's something that's going to help you in some way, shape, or form, whether it helps you with your business, it helps you with your life because now you have more free time to spend with your loved ones and make new memories. Whatever it is, it's an accomplishment, even if it's not like a technical milestone, like, oh my God, I signed a client or I hit 10K months or I did whatever. I don't care how big or small it is. I don't care what it is. If it makes you happy, if it makes you feel good, like I freaking did that, that's worth celebrating. And I think that's something that we should all do a lot more of. It's actually what kind of triggered me starting to put together these recaps this year to my email list. It was internally a way for me to celebrate and like really be present in the moment for that month and realize how much I've done. And then also a way to be more transparent on what it looks like behind the scenes to run your own business in more sustainable ways. So I'm like, okay, two birds, one stone. Let's freaking do this. So changing directions a little bit, we've talked about marketing. And then on the public speaking side of things, I ran a workshop that was a lot of friggin' fun, booked a couple more public speaking engagements for the coming months. And actually, I want to talk a little bit more about the workshop because I've done a couple recently. The second one, I'm probably going to touch on my next recap if we keep doing these. But the one that I did in May, for context, last fall, 2024, I was one of the speakers at the Latinas in Podcasting conference. It was a virtual event, their first annual event. and it was absolutely incredible. The host, Paulette, did an amazing job both putting together the speaker lineup, very diverse, of course, all Latinx and Hispanic folks. And I feel like she's done a great job nurturing a community where we get to continue to connect with each other. We get to continue to meet new people, to collaborate with each other. In fact, that is exactly that speaking opportunity led to this now paid workshop where I got to essentially lead a community of Latinx folks on how they can pitch and book more public speaking engagements, specifically podcast hosts, in very genuine and organic ways. Because one of the conversations that actually comes up with my clients often enough is, well, how can I pitch myself to, one, book more public speaking engagements, but two, do it in a way where the host can see how worthy it would be to book me, to interview me, to have me at their event, where they can see how amazing I am. And I understand where that's coming from because it makes sense. Our brain goes, okay, this host has no idea who I am. This event organizer has never heard of me, my brand, what it is that I'm all about. They've never heard me speak, so why would they want to book me? They don't trust me. They don't know that I'm going to show up and deliver. But then what ends up happening is we position our pitch in a way that we're trying to prove ourselves, right? We're trying to really showcase our value. When in reality, as a public speaker, what we are is a facilitator. We are what facilitates a good experience for an audience to have some sort of takeaway, whether it is something educational where they walk away having learned something. It could be some sort of breakthrough where they have some realization, a perspective shift. It could be entertaining wise, right? They had a really fun time. It really depends on your industry and the purpose of the event and your speaking engagement. But at the end of the day, they walk away with something. But it's the experience that you're curating for them. It's not about you. It's about what you can do for them. So anyway, I built this entire workshop where we got to really work on folks' pitches and make it so that not only can they pitch in a very genuine, like, hey, it's not about you, it's about the experience, it's about the community, it's about the event, but also finding creative ways, hint, hint, to still position yourself as an authority, to still showcase the value that you bring as a public speaker to any event or platform. So it was a really cool experience, and it actually led to an even greater, if I will, workshop that I then hosted in June, which we'll talk about later, because I am recording this June 11th, so we're a little bit late. It's not late. We're just on time. It's perfect. In any case, that was a lot of fun. And I know there's going to be a lot more workshops like that coming because I am pumped to incorporate events like that, like workshops, just opportunities for folks to actively work on their public speaking, to actively work on their portfolio in order to grow as a public speaker through the speaker directory. It's not just going to be a platform. There's going to be opportunities to learn and grow. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but in any case, still putting that together. So we're going to put a pin on that. Now, the last one, it's life focused. When I was doing my whole recap, at first I felt that I really hadn't done anything. I was like, okay, well, that month completely flew by, and I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs, and I'm like, I need to write something, or I want to write something for this monthly recap, but I couldn't come up with anything. I couldn't even remember of the 5 months of content that I had mapped out for myself. And the more that I sat down, ended up opening up my calendar, and I was like, okay, let me scroll, because I put everything on my calendar, business, life, personal, everything. So I went through there and I started making notes of different things that I had done that were just like for fun, little dates and things that we had, outings. And I realized I had actually gone on 21 different adventures or dates or hangouts. And I'm like, I'm sorry, in 1 month? 21 new experiences, 21 new memories in 1 month. That, another thing that completely blew my mind. I was going through all those and it was so freaking cool to see because it was such a wide variety. Like we went to the beach numerous times. We had a friend's first birthday, which is so freaking cute that our son is making friends and gets to go to birthday parties. Like that in itself is something that I'm beyond excited, proud of, slash celebrating in itself. What else did we do? We got to catch up with friends. I got to babysit for a friend who was going on a date. I count that as a little adventure. It was my first time as a mom babysitting somebody else's kid. So I was like, it's just so cute. Got to put him to bed and then watch a little bit of TV while he slept. Very eventful. What else did we do? We had a barbecue. We went to wineries. We went to a cidery. We had another play date. We went to sports activities with my son to swim. There were so many other things that we did. We went to a kangaroo farm, which was adorable. My son was obsessed. He kept wanting to like pet the animals and specifically feed the animals. There was one point, what was it, the kangaroos themselves? I think so, yeah. They gave us these little leaves, and he saw us feed one of the kangaroos, just one leaf, and immediately he's like reaching over. He's like, he's not talking, but he's like, I want one. I want one. So he's like, pointing. We give him a leaf. He feeds it to the kangaroo, and then as soon as he finishes and he's done laughing, he like looks back around and he's like, another one, another one. And I'm like, you are adorable. Like that is a core memory right here, and that is exactly what I love about just prioritizing sustainable strategies, right? Whether it's your marketing, your visibility, your offers, the way that you want to structure them, and the way that you want to support your clients, just everything when it comes down to how you want to structure your business, how you want to run your business, it allows for this, for more space on your calendar to just do whatever the hell you want, to go on the dates, even if you're single, to try new things. Oh, I did a lot of dancing and teaching, right? To try new hobbies, to make new memories, solo, with your partner, with your kids. Like, this makes everything so freaking worth it. And to be able to support more people and share more of these perspectives and knowledge in order to help more folks find sustainable ways and find their own ways to run their business that allows for this is just so freaking fulfilling. And I love it. And we get to do it through public speaking in particular, which is hella vibey because it's a full circle moment where whatever impact I create, it gets to lead to more folks creating their own impact. So it's like a full circle moment where we just amplify each other, we create more impact, we help more people, we change more lives. And I think that is so freaking beautiful and so cool. That's pretty much the end of my recap. That was a lot longer than I was expecting. I thought this would be like 15 minutes max, but there was a couple of random things I wanted to quickly share before we go our separate ways for the day. This past May, I celebrated my second Mother's Day with my little family, which is really freaking cute and hella random, but I haven't been shopping in a while, and especially buying like fancy things. Like you see, I'm wearing like a baggy t-shirt, I'm wearing biker shorts. Like this is basically my uniform day to day, but I have a wedding coming up and none of the dresses that I have either fit well. Like I was pregnant, I don't quite look the same. Like things have shifted, and I was like, okay, I need something new. I bought a dress that I'm shocked is gonna work. Like I'm shocked it fits well and looks good because it's one of those materials, it's one of those dresses that it's either hit or miss, right? It either looks freaking hot AF or it looks like a complete disaster. You know what I'm talking about? Those dresses, it's like those silky material. It almost looks like a slip. It looks like you're wearing like a nightgown, like a very sexy nightgown. And I'm like, I definitely never thought I'd be one of those people wearing those. I always believed I don't have the body for that. There's no way. Like I'm bloated half the time. Like it's just not gonna be a vibe. But I bought it, I tried it on, and it looks so good. I'm definitely gonna be wearing Spanx underneath if it doesn't show in the back because it's got a little bit of like a low back, but we're making it work. The downside is that because it's a silky slip, I pretty much have to wear heels. I hate heels. Used to love them, used to own like 50 plus pairs. I don't care for heels anymore. Like I'm happy with my runners or okay, fine if it's a wedding like flats, but now I gotta wear heels. So, and it's an outdoor like on the grass wedding. So I'm not excited about this. So we'll see. I think I have like 2, 3 heels tops, probably only one that will match. So we're gonna figure that out. I think my wife said she's got one of those little like stoppers that you can put in the heel, so at least you can walk over grass if it's like a skinny heel. So we shall try that out. But anyway, I'm just super excited because the dress looks good. It was only $30. Blew my mind. I feel like this is like the third time that something has blown my mind in this episode. But anyway, so yeah, I call that a huge win. Definitely worth celebrating. But I would love to hear from you. What is something that you are celebrating from this past month, whether it's this past May or whatever month, whatever season you're tuning into this episode? Definitely go ahead, share in the comments, share, slide into my DMs. Let's freaking talk about it. I love to celebrate everybody in my community, including you. And I hope you have an incredible rest of your day and go enjoy your life if you're done your business day, because life first business model is the vibe. So yeah, peace out. Cheers.